Good everyone, and welcome to today's video, and today it's a Respade Battle that I had in the Daimler AC Mark II Armored Car. Now, if you guys are not aware, there has been a recent server update which has added in a load of, well, 2 new shells to any British vehicle that has a 2-pounder cannon. So, just to run through the list in case you're not sure what I'm on about. A13 Mark II 1939, A13 Mark II, well, Mark 1 3rd Royal Tank Regiment, which is the premium that I got for free. Tetrarch, Crusader Mark II, A13 Mark 1, A13 Mark II, Daimler AC Mark II, Valentine Mark 1, and the Matilda Mark 1, as well as the Churchill, also Mark II Matilda, and the Churchill Mark 1. All these vehicles have had a new shell added, or 2 new shells added. You have the APHVT, which I'm guessing stands for high velocity because it's got a slightly higher muzzle velocity than the other shells. However, it's got lesser penetration than this round for some reason. I don't know. Then you have this shell, a Shot Mark 1 APT. Now, I know what some people are thinking. Because it's got the explosive icon, it's got explosive. Technically yes, but technically no. It's a substance called lyddite, and from what I've been able to research, it's a mix of explosive and citric acid, or pitric acid. Now, in testing, I found the shell to be very debatable. It would sometimes act like a HESH round, it sometimes act like an APHE round, but sometimes it would just hit the tank and just kill whatever's in front of the shell. A bit like a heat round. It was very weird. I don't know if to recommend to use this shell or not, but either way, I think it's a good addition. I don't think I'm going to be using the APHVT though. But I will certainly have to give this shell a try in a battle at some point. See how it does. So to go briefly over the Daimler Armored Car, obviously it was an armored car developed by the British. I will not go into the history of it because I will do that when we do the Talisman Drive of this thing, because I do have the Talisman on it for some reason. I got it ages ago. To go briefly over this little guy, you get a 2-pounder cannon, you get a beast machine gun and a turret, and you get also a smoke grenade launcher. I'll tell you a fun fact about it when we get around to this thing, eventually. But yes, all those vehicles have had 2 new shells added, as I pointed out. We'll get them respaded, which is what I'm working on today, and I got the Daimler Armored Car done in this battle. I didn't bring out anything else in this battle, that's why I'm going to be removing the Daimler Armored Car from the lineup, and then I'm going to work on the Tetrarch next and do the A13s last. Okay, so let's jump right in and see what happened in this battle. Now, I wasn't originally planning to save this battle, but then I thought, well, the character in the battle just got increasingly more useful, and I'm not being funny. It's also a chance to give me a PSA, or give a PSA about these shells. But when I was researching lyddite, I was rather intrigued by it. I did reasonably well at science, but I've never heard of the substance called lyddite, and apparently it goes back to World War One, when the British first made us Brits made the first tank. But as you can see here, obviously the Daimler Armored Car does struggle a bit when it comes to turning. You don't have power steering on this sucker, and you don't have 4-wheel steering like you would on a Puma. But I make my way up to one of my favourite spots on this side of Sinai. And, well, today is obviously going to be 2 videos in one. There's going to be this, which you'll see first, and then there's a bit of a surprise video. I got asked by a subscriber named Chad Bulligan, I think it was, if I remember rightly, 1 or 2. And he asked to have a look at some lineups for tanks, which give out good Silver Lion lineups and stuff like that. Well, I don't know if he wants aircraft, that's the thing, so I'm going to run off the basis that he does want aircraft involved. The reason why I say that is because a plane can turn the tide of a battle just like that. It's just, I'm gonna go with that assumption. But obviously I'm up here on my spot. The start of the battle gets off pretty slow, I will admit. I was sat here mostly just putting on my music and just sitting, answering Facebook to Dave Schilling. And that was really it. I just sat for the first few minutes, not really doing anything. But there's one player on this team who you will want to take a note of, and that is Yan4710020. Now, whilst we're waiting for me to actually get involved in combat, let's take a look at this guy. So 26 Brits, 2 Spaded. Yeah. He's stat padding in British low tier. So can I just point out, he only actually has 2 vehicles spaded in Britain. Yeah, mate, you might want to work on that, and I did that. Don't call the teams bad just because they're at low tier. You get that a lot anyway. But even if my team was bad, I still had a decent game. And it's quite clear to me you're just some sad stat padder. Now, I did blocklist him because I sent him a nice message. I basically said to him, maybe if you didn't spend your time of your entire life in low tier Brits, stat padding, you might actually get some decent teams. Go up in BR and actually do something. And then I told him to go fuck himself. I love telling people to go fuck themselves. It's one of my favourite insults. But yeah, the start of this battle is very, very slow, but it's not the fact that I wanted to. Well, I took out the Daimler Armored Car, and I thought, well, it's got no armor. The mobility's not the best for an armored car because it's got quite a weak engine. So I thought, well, why don't I try and just sit back, use the 2-pounder for what it was good for, and just wait, really. But at this point, Yan4710020 has just rushed in and died, and he's going to blame the team, naturally. You're not going to see the messages, but he said something along the lines of like, oh, your team, well, team, you're useless, we're going to lose and everything. The usual norm. And he doesn't take into account the fact that he's rushing in like a retard. He then starts calling the entire team noobs and everything, including myself. And obviously, I just tell him to shut the fuck up, naturally. But then he starts saying, oh, I've got more kills than you, I matter more. Mate, I ended this battle with more kills than you, so I don't see where you pulled that fact out of your ass. Of course, he left after I basically told him to sit. Well, I basically said to him, are you retarded? He left after I said that. Clearly, we're case closed in that regard. But yeah, I'm going to be working on the spade impression, well, the respade for these vehicles. If I get any more decent footage, I will use it. And well, I only did one drive out to get this thing done. Same with the A13 Mark II. Did that last night. Obviously, if you know in the Discord, I let the Discord know about this. At this point, I'm engaging a T28. Now, I don't actually kill him, but I'm not really used to the 2-pounder. But I slowly got my range in and just started hitting this guy. The only problem is the Daimler Armored Car's got a really weird sight, and not only that, it's quite a small vehicle. I set the T28 on fire, took out a crew member or so, and I'm just firing shells, firing shells. The one thing you want to take into account with the Daimler Armored Car, though, is you only get 52 rounds total. That sounds like a lot, but with about a 3-second reload, it really isn't. You could burn through your ammunition load in about 3 minutes of consecutive firing. Roughly. Well, in fact, no, I tell a lie. You could burn your ammunition load if you fire, let's say, well, obviously about 3.5 seconds per shell, let's just say, and I got the assist on that T28. What was I going to say? 3.5 seconds per reload. So you're probably going to get about 15 shells off the 20 shots, well, about 15 to 17 shots a minute. To take that into account, you will burn you through your ammunition load in around about 3 to 3.5 minutes of consecutive firing, so roughly. anyway. So that's one thing you've got to take into account. And obviously the more skilled crew you have, because I don't particularly have a very skilled crew on this armored car, but even so. And well, you've just got to take that into account. I carry only 50 shells because I cannot carry 52, otherwise my OCD will go off. It has to be either a 0 or a 5 when it comes to ammunition loadout. But obviously it started off pretty slow, this battle. I wasn't expecting to get much, but I knew I was going to get the armored car respaded anyway. Because when I drove it last, I did that for the smoke grenades, and I had a stonkingly great battle. So I still have RP remaining from that battle. First shot on this Stug, who was spawn camping, naturally. Second shot takes out the driver because he decided to give his side to me. I thought, why not? Never shell in. First kill of the game. Decent shot. Obviously, I've got to be careful here because this thing's quite susceptible to rolling over, let's just say. Don't worry, Yan 471020 is going to start moaning again, so I'm just going to basically tell him to shut up. I don't get why there's so many players like this. Like, you're not helping your team by nagging them. If anything, you're putting them off, and I'm not being funny, right? The Germans and the Russians had a lot of air support, which I dealt with, for the most part, spoiler alert. But for the most part, the Russians and the Germans had some pretty good tanks. And here comes our first customer of the day. I start firing the Beezer and I thought, well, not going to get much, but I actually set him on fire. He crashes and I get the air kill. That's the respade done. Here's where I tell him to shut up. But I'm just thinking, right, well, I've got the car respaded, so... And he's going to now direct... Well, you won't be able to obviously see his messages there, but he's now going to start directing it at me. I basically say to him, you want a medal? Shut it. That's one of my favourite responses to people. He has 4 kills and 2 deaths, by the way. And it's not going to get any better for him. But at this point, I'm just sat back here, just relaxing in my armored car, obviously messaging this twat, telling him to shut the fuck up, basically. And I just said, do you want to play something other than stat padding and low tier Brits? I don't think he expected that one. And he said, I'm out, bye, and I just said, later, shithead. But he's going to continue, because attention-seeking children always is. And people may think of me as responding to him in a bad way, but nah. I love pissing them off just that little bit more. And his insults to me were very, very bland. He tried to call me a noob, and all evidence points to the contrary, mate. But obviously I'm having a good game so far. 1 air kill, 1 ground target destroyed on a Stug, so already I'm doing pretty well for myself. One thing to take into account with the Daimler Armored Car is that the machine gun runs out after only 500 rounds, and the Beezer machine gun has quite a high fire rate. I think the fire rate of the Beezer is about 800 rounds a minute, so... Obviously that includes reloads. But, yeah. He now starts calling me a camper. I just say, not losing my vehicle, don't need to. He's saying, oh, why don't you go to A, why don't you go to B? Mate, you're out of vehicles, you have no opinion in the matter, you rushed in like a retard. And at this point, I hear a tank and I'm thinking, what's that? Obviously the BB-1 can't penetrate my armor, it can penetrate the tyres if you want to try that, but... Here comes this spawn camping little shithead. I put a 2-pounder right through the turret. For some reason he keeps driving forward, which is just silly. And there we go, second tank kill. And he starts calling me a camper again, and as soon as I say I retarded, he will leave the game. In a few seconds. I just don't understand these people. But, whatever, got to roast his ass. He looked like a twat. And I got a decent game out of this car, so yeah. And there we go, he's left the battle now. Obviously, C's just been decapped. Obviously, I know I'm not going to win this. There's no point me driving out the open just to die. One of my favourite sayings is, if you can avoid losing a vehicle, avoid losing a vehicle. Obviously, air support is coming in, but the BB-1s have already dropped their bombs, so they're not really that big of a threat. They're only strafing us with machine gun fire. Well, that one was, but I just MG'd his pilot. So that's your second air kill. And here comes another BB-1, but it seems he knows of my AA potential. What I like about this spot that Dave Schilling uses himself is that you can stick your vehicle up at a high angle, utilize its gun elevation, but improve on it to basically make your vehicle a spag, and it is really handy. Now, for some reason, this Lieutenant Dan decides to fly straight into a 2-pounder shell, but whatever floats your boat, mate. I mean, if you've got a fetish for that thing, that's fine. Third air kill. Oh, I do love low-tier battles sometimes. Yes, I need to get the Matilda done, the Churchill Mark 1 done, Valentine Mark 1 done, as well as a couple of other vehicles. But I don't mind, I like doing them. They're nice little vehicles, so I don't really care. I'll play them. If it gets them respaded and I get to use some new rounds, I don't mind. Take out the engine on this BT7, second shot, dead. That was always going to be a kill, third kill. BT7s have next to or no armor. And at this range, it's severely unlikely you're going to hit a Daimler Armored Car. But we're now approaching the end of the match. Obviously, we've been triple capped. Our team's pretty much dead. So I'm just thinking at this point, well, I don't need to take a risk. But then I saw on the minimap there's a medium tank been marked up, and I thought, why not? I'll pop out for a shot. First shot pretty much does nothing. Second shot disables the engine and the turret ring. Third shot, fourth kill. Well, tank kill. And that is that. So not a bad game, obviously. We did have that idiot running his mouth and things like that. You always get players like that in low tier. Specifically the stat padders. They always tend to moan about low tier, but maybe if you didn't spend your days clubbing seals, you might actually learn that people have got to learn sometimes. People do have to learn how to play games. Like, I've started playing God of War. Well, I haven't started playing God of War. I've nearly finished the bugger. But after I've respaded all these vehicles, I'm going to go back on God of War. And I didn't start off on God of War as a particularly good player, but once I got into my, shall we say, RPG element and open world explorer element, I was good at the game. You've just got to learn. And everyone has to learn at some point. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little battle in the Daimler Armored Car Mark 2. Obviously, everything with a British 2-pounder has got these 2 new shells added. Recommend you get them respaded. If you haven't spaded them, get them spaded. These, well, the Churchill's a bit meh, and the Matilda's a bit meh, but the other vehicles are perfectly suitable for their BRs. And, well, if you get a game like this, you'll get it respaded just like that. So, and not only that, these vehicles are cheap to obviously get done. They should only take 1 or 2 battles at most. And not only that, if you've not driven it out at all, maybe you could spade it. You'll just have to see. Obviously, it's your call. I'm not forcing you to spade, but I would prefer it if people started spading. Obviously, I'm fairly certain most of my subscriber base has better spading stats than this guy. I mean, you really do have to be some sad prick to stat pad in the absolute same vehicles over and over and over again just to make yourself look good. But hey, that's people for you. They have to be retarded sometimes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Daimler Armored Car Mark 2. Obviously, you will see this thing eventually in the Talisman series. I will obviously drag it out for that. That's when we'll obviously get around to that, but that won't be for a while yet, so don't expect to see this vehicle again. But either way, I still enjoyed it. It's a nice little armored car. I do love my armored cars. I know I did that. We got some 1-inch shithead, which is always just better. Anyway, catch you all on the next one.